to BanjoBenClark.com. I am Banjo Ben, your host here on the website to teach you how to play banjo, mandolin. But this week is Guitar Week, and I asked you over on my Facebook page what y'all wanted to learn. I heard a lot of stuff coming back like, we need more fingerstyle gospel. You hadn't done that in a long time, and I haven't. So I asked for requests, and this was one of the requests that got a lot of likes. Are you washed in the blood? So I thought I'd make it really fun. Let's start in the key of C. Let's modulate, go to the key of D. C. You know, not only can you learn a couple of really cool, fun solos, but you can see what goes into playing the same melody in two different keys without using a capo. And you banjo players, if you've never tried doing this, I really encourage you to grab a guitar and try this three-finger stuff. It's very, very rewarding. All right, so if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, here in a moment, I'll ask you to come over to the website, BanjoBenClark.com. You can join as a Gold Peak member, have access to hundreds of lessons just like this one. I've got the tab, and I've got 3 speeds of rhythm MP3 tracks that you can play along and practice with. I'd be honored for you to join me. Let's jump right into this one. Let's learn Are You Washed in the Blood? We're going to do fingerstyle guitar. This is a lot of fun, y'all. And, you know, let me really encourage you, if you've never played this kind of stuff before, to try to tackle it with me. I'll do my best to teach it to you. But we're going to start off in the key of C, and then we're going to modulate and go to the key of G, which there's a lot of application there, theory application even. But before we get started, there are a couple of preemptive things I need to tell you about. Let's go ahead and throw up the first line of tab there. I've tried to make this as easy as possible to read, and one of the things that I've tried, you can leave some feedback on whether you like it or not, is highlighting all the notes that I play with my thumb instead of putting all the finger indications beneath each one of the notes. So all of those that are highlighted, I'm going to play with my thumb. And what I'd encourage you to do is just run through the whole piece, download the tab, if you're a member here on the site, and run through the whole piece and just see what it sounds like. Just start getting used to it. Start getting used to the movements. And then the other notes that are in there are more subjective. You can use your middle finger, you can use your index finger, whatever's easier for you. You can see how I do it. But I'm playing it like a banjo. I'm just using 3 fingers, thumb and 2 fingers, and planting with my pinky. Some of you fingerstyle guys may use 4, 5, or 6 fingers if you're from certain places, all right? So let's go ahead and get started here. We follow the melody a lot, but we're going to swing it. Boom, 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 boom. So I'm playing these weighted 8th notes. It gets to be lots of fun, but I had to practice this one quite a bit to be able to get to performance standards. We're going to come in on the second beat and just getting a regular C chord. It's one of the few times we're going to play just a regular old chord. And as we come into measure 2, we're just going to get this alternating thumb thing going. Get that going. And then as we do that, we're going to start adding this melody up there. I'll do it with my middle finger. And I just had to do a lot of repeating on this thing to get the coordination down. Okay. Now, as we get into measure 3, it's nothing but quarter notes. We're just going to get those pinches nice and strong. Try to keep our melody a little louder than the bass notes if we can. Measure 4, some reverse rolls. And then for the G chord here in measure 4, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to go to a partial G chord, middle finger on this B note, pinky here, and we're going to play a 7th tone with our ring finger on that F note and do a backwards roll. And then one of the things that makes fingerstyle guitar, at least this style, kind of difficult is that we don't do our chord changes all at the same time. Many times. Sometimes we do, but often they're staggered. And we're going to see that here. We're going to go to this G7 shape at the same time. But then at the very end of measure 4, look what I have to do. I go back to my 1st fret with my index finger, and I just release my pinky, but I'm going to leave the other 2 down. And the reason why I'm doing this is to make it sound smooth. Okay, so try not to have it so segmented sounding. That's just my particular style. So I get that ringing out for just a little bit instead of. So, and then I switch right at the last millisecond to go back to my C shape and measure 5. And walk up those melody lines. Now let me play the whole first line a little slow, but we're going to do it much, much slower later on in the lesson for my members. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure 6, right into a C chord. Now for this D7, we're not going to do a full D7 chord. We're just going to do a partial at first. I'm going to reach my thumb over for the bass note, so that's what the bass note's doing. And then I'm going to release and play this first fret. Now if it's too tough for you to go over the top, you can just play an open A string for your bass note, which is fine. If I can play it. And then for my G here, we're going to do this a lot, where we're using our pinky either on this 3rd fret here or 3rd fret here. That's just the way that I do it. It's because I'm looking for economy of movement. I want to move as little as I can. I was right here, so I guess you could just throw up this position here. I don't know, I like it this way. Now, what's interesting about that is we're going to have maybe the only time in the whole song at the end of measure 8 where we play 2 notes on the same string back to back. And then I'm going to keep that 7th tone down through the first beat of measure 9 because I want that 7th tone ringing out. And then at the last second, I'm jumping up with my pinky. Yes, it's kind of difficult. Grabbing this 3rd fret and sliding up, grabbing the open E string, sliding back down. This whole line. Ah! Sometimes it's easier to do it a little quicker. Measure 10, that's just like measure 2, nothing wrong there. Now the bass line in measure 11, just pay attention to what it does. So it's jumping up, down, back up again. I think that's really cool because we have our melody line walking down and then our bass line's walking up. When we get to measure 12, we're going to an F chord, but I'm just going to play an F7. Okay, so do your bar F chord, but then you can release your pinky. I love that little 7th tone in there. And then I'm going to do a hammer on the 3rd beat. That means I'm just going to release my middle finger and hammer on from that bar. So it's a... That's going to take maybe a little while to learn. If the hammer-on's too tough, you don't have to do it. We're going to play the F chord later on and not do that. I'm just offering a bit of diversity. You could just keep it. This whole line. Measure 14. This is really cool. Just look at what the bass does. Practice that. The key is throwing those syncopated melody notes in there with it, right? Really, really cool, I think. So just make sure that you get your counting right, and then of course download the TEF tab file and you can control the tempo on those. Your computer will play it for you, or your phone. You can practice along with that. But measure or this line slowly. Then we're going to go into the chorus now. But first, let's play all the way through this verse very slowly, then dive into that chorus, and we'll go to G.